Hey, hello everyone, Pally here. Welcome back to Heroes of the Storm. We brought the face cam out of retirement because we've gotten the biggest patch we've received in a very long time to the game. This has been cooking on the PTR for a little bit now, and I intentionally did not try it. I wanted to wait until it was done. Now, that doesn't mean I haven't been seeing a lot of feedback from you guys, especially on Reddit. There's a lot of people complaining about a lot of the changes, but we'll just see how things go. Change is scary, and change doesn't happen in our game very often anymore, does it? You know, that was kind of the whole reason we started the deep dive, is because I didn't think we'd be receiving very more balanced changes that really mattered, that really changed anything. So I could make the deep dive, make it a complete look at Heroes of the Storm, and then move on. But they keep changing things. So, massive patch today. We're going to go through it line by line. There are map changes in here, changing up the best map in the game, as well as some of the worst ones. There are massive sweeping character balances. Like, let's just scroll down a little bit. There is a lot going on here. This is a really, really big patch. And they're fundamentally changing how buildings work too. Again, how many times is this? At least it's been a few years this time. So, I haven't done one of these little patch videos in a while. Sit back, get a nice cozy beverage. I have my morning pick-me-up here ready to go. And we'll go through this together. Thank you for joining me. So we have general map updates, shop balance updates, and bugs fixes. In general, basic cleave and splash attacks now function more consistently across all heroes. They've been doing this in the past, looking at just mechanics that exist in the game and making sure those mechanics are really the same across the board. How does getting stunned work? How does resetting your cooldowns work if you get interrupted? These are bad examples, but they've been trying to make sure that if an interaction works on one character, it's going to work the same way across the board, and it looks like these changes are continuing. Changes that may impact the balance of hero will be listed in the balance section. So splash is being changed. Now, this is the big meat of what we're here for today, and this is going to be a big shakeup to ranked as well. First of all, Blackheart's Bay is coming back to the ranked rotation. The best map! This is my season! This is my time to shine! But let's dive in a bit more to it. Forts, Keeps, and the Core will now grant... This is going to be for every map. This is not just Blackheart's Bay. Okay, so I didn't read the top line. Blackheart's Bay, Hanamura Temple, and Warhead Junction will enter the map rotation in the coming weeks. Forts, Keeps, and the Core, so that's all the buildings other than the wall and towers, will now grant allied heroes 35% armor for 4 seconds if they take damage underneath the radius of the tower. So this has been the most controversial change that I've been tracking over the last few weeks. It was 50 armor originally on the PTR. There's more to this as well. I need to read the next line as well. This effect has a 4-second cooldown and it can only be granted to one hero per structure. Okay. Forts, Keeps, and the Core will no longer prioritize enemy heroes when an ally hero is attacked. So let's put ourselves in a scenario. We're playing Vala. We are the squishiest thing to ever live. We are being chased by a Genji, coked out assassin who can jump 3 screens. Now, when we run to a tower, we'll get 35 armor for being under the tower. But if Genji does his bullshit to engage under the tower, dash in, we're fighting a Genji. Now, if there are minions, the tower will hit the minions. If there's no minions, the tower will hit Genji. I don't want it to seem like the tower is just going to ignore him. But this does certainly complicate things. This is going to make the game feel really, really different. And one of the reasons I wanted to do this video is because this patch is fundamentally changing the game. And we haven't had a patch that fundamentally changes the game in a long time, my dudes, a long time. So I've been asking chat to say if it's a W or an L change since we have chat on the screen. We're reading these live over on Twitch. This is going to be the most difficult change to parse. And I don't know how I feel about it. My gut instinct is that Zagara just got a lot stronger, which is good for me. Because I play her. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure how I feel about this. We're going to have to jump in and try it out. That is for sure. We're going to have to jump in and try it out. Forts, keeps, and core no longer priority. Oh, we already read that. Mercenary camps now spawn 30 seconds after the match begins, down from 60 seconds. Okay. Down from 60 seconds. How does that change up the map? So you can take, like on Altric Pass, you could take the mercenary camp earlier that pushes middle and get a bigger XP boost ahead of your enemy. You would still wait to take the second one by the time the next camp pops up. See, a lot of these camps, you leave them, like on Cursed Hollow, you leave the giant camps to then take it during the first objective. So maybe this would just mean you take lower priority camps to get those moving, get some XP for the team, make sure all your lanes are soaked first. I don't think that's a bad change at all. Small XP globes have been removed. Will now vanish if no allied hero is within 15 radius of the globe. They're just gone. Oh my God, I didn't know they changed this more. So if you're not in the lane to... So, okay. A minion dies. What happens after a minion dies? They drop a large goop of XP. Over time, that goop of XP gets smaller and gives you less XP for it. It looks like now that smaller XP globe is just gone. So if you're not there to soak the wave, a lot of XP is going to go missing. That means the offlaner being in position, being in their lane to get that soak is more important now. Structure health has been increased by 12.5%. When a hero attacks an enemy structure with a basic attack, allied minions near the building become inspired and gain 35% increased attack speed and movement speed for 3 seconds. This does not affect illusions or summons. Whoa. So once again, infestation on Zagara? Hello? It's just getting better? Hello? What's the point of that? I don't understand that. I mean, I understand structures have more health, but why do you need to buff minions to get them down? Do we know if the janitor is a Zagara main? Minions now spawn exactly at 0-0 and the 30-second mark, so that makes timing waves even easier to do. That's good. Blackheart's Bay changes specifically now. Bombardment now deals 20% reduced damage to keeps and cores. I don't remember how many shots it took to kill a building before. I don't remember at all, to be honest. But 20% reduced damage. So your first bombardment on Blackheart's Bay would not kill middle buildings. So it's going to take 2 still to kill middle building, probably. We could test this out today. Any of these changes, by the way, I'm recording this at the very beginning of Viewer Game Tuesday. If we have enough viewers today, we'll have a whole custom game of Blackheart's Bay. We'll do a custom Hanamura. We'll do a custom Infernal Shrines. We'll go through all these and see how they feel. If we have enough. Log on. Log on right now. Cast time to turn in coins reduced from 7 seconds to 5 seconds. Okay. There are now 3 treasure chest locations. The first chest spawns at the top lane during the first phase. 2 chests spawn in the next 3. The first chest spawns in the top lane during the first phase. Is that the only one that spawns now? It's the top lane? 2 chests spawn in the next 3 phases, and all 3 chests spawn every phase after that. Wow. So a big complaint with Blackheart's Bay in the past, and one of the main reasons it was removed from the rank pool, and this is just my recollection, was that basically you would draft your team to have a dual soaker who could do middle and top, and then you would basically try to get the best 4-man team fight you could. And the team that could control the area from middle to bottom, like the lower half of the map, would basically just win the game. If you could control the middle, you win everything. This is going to make that strategy less viable, I think. That's my knee-jerk reaction, because it's going to force us to spread out more, especially as 3 chests are popping all over the map. That'll be really, really interesting. There are now watch towers near Blackheart. So where the coin turn-in is, you will now only drop half of your coins upon death. Rounded down. Only 8 coins are required for the first turn-in, down from 10. That's probably because there's less coins on the map at the beginning. There's only at the top chest spine. I have made no effort to hide that I think Blackheart's Bay is the funnest map in the game. I think it's so fun to just go around and collect stupid little side quests and turn them in. I am really interested to see this change. I wonder if this will make it so you don't do the 1-4 split. You do a 1-1-3 instead or something. 1-3-1 maybe. I don't know. Very interesting changes. I'm gonna have to see that. Hanamura! I've been talking about this one for so long. Hanamura fundamentally is a broken map. The samurai do more damage than the payload. It is always better for your team to get the samurai over the payload in every situation. I've been nailing that down for months and months and months now. Let's see how they change it. Payload damage is increased by 12.5%. The payload now also moves 25% faster. The samurai lane pusher health has been reduced by 12.5%, and payloads deal 20% less damage to the core specifically. So the payload will do a better job of actually melting the buildings in lane. And it'll actually move faster to its objective. That was one of the pain points for sure. You would like team fight on the point, especially in the early game, kill the team. You'd just be standing in this little circle watching it go across the map really slow, and then you'd have to fight the same fucking team again after they respawn. So I could see if it actually moves now and you could win the payload off of one team fight, that could feel a lot better. What is this face spam, you guys? What the fuck? What the fuck? Hanamura changes. I'm surprised we didn't see damage reduction to the samurai. Health reduction by 12.5% is a lot, but if it gets in tower range, then I mean, it didn't. Is it going to get blown the fuck up with 12% more damage? I don't think so. I don't know. Basically, if you don't respond to it, it'll die a little faster. But if you weren't responding to it already, it was just going to get a crazy value. I think it's still going to get a lot of that value. Infernal Shrines. Punishers will no longer leap over Punishers will no longer leap over gates. That's been there since day one. That was the whole strat. Well, let's read more. Skeleton minions. Damage has been reduced by... Did they use the wrong word? Janitor, there's a distinction here we need to pay attention to. Objective creatures are called monsters, not minions. Skeleton monster damage reduced by 25%. Skeleton minion health decreased by 100. Skeleton move speed increased so you can stack them up easier, and they have a little bit of armor. I'm trying to put myself on the map, and I'm trying to think if there's ever been a scenario where I noticed a monster dealing damage to me.
One of my favorite streamers ever. Please don't ever stop.
Hey, that's the plan. Thank you so much for the donation, my dude. I'll keep going as long as I can. That's my promise. I intend to keep it. Also, like, they weren't hard to kill before. I don't even know if I'll notice 100 health missing from these things. Yeah, Fox thinks that teams might split push a little bit more on Infernal Shrines during the objective. I can't... This one has stun locked me. I've just been sitting here looking at it. The Punisher's no longer leaping over, really. So what that means is that, especially early in the game, you would get the first Punisher to hop over the wall, and it would basically nullify the first objective. So even if your team lost the first objective, you just poke that thing, get it to hop over the wall. It usually wouldn't even kill the building. But I imagine this means gates are going to fall down. And we're going to be brawling under towers more. So we might see... Where was that armor thing? We might see the 35 armor popping up more underneath towers. But that's only going to be on one person. So who gets to be the one that survives as the enemy team is pushing in on you? I don't know. Sky Temple. Guardian Mighty Swing Knockback. Duration reduced from 0.5 to 0.3. This is the big Guardian that spawns at the start of channeling the objective. The knockback is interrupted by other knockbacks. The knockback speed increased to match previous knockback distance. And literally, this is the only change. Mighty Swing will now interrupt any ongoing knockback effects. So the janitor decided, Sky Temple, perfect map except for this one minion who needs sweeping changes. Okay, I mean, just fucking kill the minion. Whatever, he's gone. Just kill him, whatever. Warhead Junction, nukes, damage, updated to 1,000 plus 12% of target's max health. Was 2,300 damage before. So late game, when you're desperately trying to defend your core, you can use these against an attacking team and it'll actually do more damage against them. It'll be more of a threat. Does this also consider like a structure's health? Nukes now ignite structures. Oh, dealing 1.2% of their health per second. Attacking the building will refresh the duration up to 5 seconds. That's awesome. So a lot of the times in the past, you would kind of creep up to the wall, channel your nuke as far away as humanly possible, and then drop the nuke and run away. And that would be your only interaction with it at all. Now it seems like if you want to get the most out of it, you got to cruise in, use your nuke as you're going into siege, and at least auto attack the building a couple times. Nukes now take 2.5 seconds to launch, up from 1.5 seconds. Nukes are the hardest thing in the entire game now. There will now be fewer nukes that spawn as well. Okay. And we have just 2 changes to the Garden Terror map. The Terror has 12.5% more baseline life. I'm assuming that will scale throughout the course of the game. So the Garden Terrors are going to be harder to kill. And also, the Terror scales significantly harder into the late game. So, yes, the Terror will be harder to kill. We have a new mount that has been added to the game. As far as I understand, this was supposed to be, part of the, can't remember the exact name of the event, but it's the board game, the toy event we get every year, or we were getting every year. We're getting it again now. It's just not new stuff. This was a mount that was slotted to be released on year 3, and it is now available to us in the video game. Okay, rapid fire balance updates. This is going to be the majority of what's left. There's some bug fixes down at the bottom as well. We'll try to get through this as rapidly as we can. Not as much of a thought experiment here. We don't have to figure out how the game is going to be changed based around this. So, locust damage increased by 25% on Abathur. Trait Abathur is alive and well, my friends. That's one of my most popular videos in the deep dive, and it just got even better. Dahaka, Brush Stalker, cooldown increased from 75... Cooldown increased from 75 seconds to 240 seconds. Cooldown is reduced by 40 seconds when a regen globe is picked up. 40 seconds. 2 regen globes per lane. That's a minute and 20 seconds off. Yeah, honestly, if you're soaking lanes and you're getting regen globes, you're going to be all over the map. Wow. Level 20 Apex Predator cooldown reduction increased from 50 to 120. Apex Predator is just, you can mount more, right? Illidan. Fiery Brand is receiving some changes. Attacking a different hero from last hero attack now resets progress on previously attacked hero. So they want you to really fixate on one person with Fiery Brand, which is kind of how it was intended anyway. Blinds and Evasion now prevent any progress from being granted, which is a big change. Because before it didn't matter if your damage connected, it just mattered that you went through with the auto attack. If the target gains stasis or invulnerable, progress will be lost, and stacks now reset after 300 seconds. Kael'thas Rebirth now has 3 charges. Rebirth is his move of the Phoenix, so he can do that more. Good change. I would love to... I'm not going to look now. Too much on my mind. I would love to see his pick rate for Rebirth. I imagine it's not very high. Maev, Umbral Bind, W, Pull Force has been reduced. So Maev, a little bit less of a threat, moving you out of position with her tether. The Butcher, Brutal Strike, now loses stacks when attacking. Now loses stacks while attacking or blinded against evading enemies. What the heck is Brutal Strike? The Butcher. Why do so many other characters come up when I type the? After using hamstring. Oh, it's the hamstring talent. Oh, that would explain why I didn't know what it was. The Lost Vikings, Longboat. Decreased movement speed no longer decreases the longboat's starting speed and now reduces longboat's move speed by 25%. No longer decreases longboat's starting speed and now... We'll read that again. Decreased move speed, so being slowed, no longer decreases the longboat's starting speed. So is that the time it takes to form into the boat? If you were slowed, that took longer? I didn't know that. But if you are slowed, the longboat's going to move 25% less slower. That seems totally reasonable and fine to me. Oh shit, pour one out, boys. Thrall has lost one of the great generic talents that this game used to be built around. Follow through has been removed at level 7. Made the shot. In its place, after using basic or heroic abilities, Thrall's next basic attacks within 4 seconds deals 45% more damage. I think that's less than follow through. Is that right? I want to say follow through is really high, like 65. It used to be 40% damage on follow through. We have confirmation from chat. So has it not changed? Is it just not named follow through anymore? That's kind of funny. It went up 5%. So it went from 40 to 45. Got you. Uther, the worst character in the game. Holy Light, range increased from 7.75 to 8. Now, once a week, that heal will reach a little further. How exciting. Range is no longer increased to 8.75 after selecting Holy Shock. Great. Level 4 Holy Shock no longer grants reduced cooldown or mana cost, but instead costs less mana and has a lower cooldown. New features its own active button. Hold on. So is that just going to... does that add to the piano of Uther? Activate to deal 145 damage to the target enemy and gain the self-healing benefits of... That is really good. That is really good. Okay, my biggest problem with Uther, especially with this build, and I've only played it in ARAM once. I want to be clear. I felt like the biggest piece of shit every time I used my Q offensively because I couldn't heal the guy behind me that was about to die. It shares a cooldown with Holy Light. What's the fucking point? I thought I would be able to Holy Shock and then heal someone else. What's the fucking point? So Holy Light has a 12-second cooldown. Holy Shock has a 6-second cooldown. There you go. That's the point. That's the point. So you can Holy Shock with your 1 now instead of your Q to get that cooldown back half as fast. Cheers! And then Holy Shock
It keeps
again.
you from accidentally healing allies or damaging enemies.
It keeps you from accidentally healing allies or damaging enemies. That's also true. Okay. I don't like Uther, so I'm a little biased here. But that's a weird change. I can get behind it, though. I can get behind it. Valera! Did they remove her silence? She got a lot of talents. A lot of changes. Slice and Dice rework grants 400% increased attack speed, which is lost after attacking 3 times or after 3 seconds. Cooldown for the next attack after the third will not be reduced. Can anyone tell me what the fuck Slice and Dice did before? I am not a Valeera player. I don't know. I don't have a point of reference for this. Gains 400% attack speed, which is lost after attacking 3 times. So basically you pop, slice, and dice and really quick. Well, I guess boop, 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 really quick. And then that's not bad. I imagine Valeera's attack damage isn't too bad. Cooldown for the next attack after the third will not be reduced. So what they're saying is you're not going to be resetting your auto attack with this or anything like that, right? Varian talents. Warbringer at level 10. What does Warbringer do? It's been a hot minute since I've played Varian. He would be a great deep dive addition. Warbringer at level 10. Reduces the cooldown, can be used on allies. So this is the charge. So it used to have a mana cost reduction. I'm stun locked again. They crossed out Warbringer mana cost reduction, reduced from 22.5 to 20. And then they didn't cross out mana cost reduction, reduced from 22.5 to 20. So is the only difference here that they removed the word Warbringer? And they needed to tell me that? Okay. Level 20, demoralizing shout. Cooldown reduced, cooldown reduction increased from 2.5 to 5 seconds. Demoralizing shout is activated to demoralize nearby enemy heroes, reducing the damage they deal for 40% for 5 seconds. Each time an enemy afflicted by demoralizing shout deals damage to a hero, reduce its cooldown and parries cooldown by 5%. That is really cool. I've never taken that. That is really neat. So those are all of the big changes aside from Zagara's Infest, which is something we talked about earlier today, getting some damage reduction, which I think is definitely needed. With the new changes to minions and going up the towers and just shredding them, I actually think Infest is going to be really strong right now. I am not going to read through the bug fixes. There are many of them, though. Usually just this is fixing small things behind the scenes. Usually it's not massive things that we notice, or they would be addressed a little bit faster. But that's going to do it for our patch look, everybody. Thank you all so much for watching. We haven't done one of these in a hot minute. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to hit that thumbs up button for me. We're going to be playing a lot of HotS today. God, there's so many bug fixes. We're going to be playing a lot of HotS today and releasing those videos throughout the week. Good Lord. So many changes. Take care, guys. Goodbye.